Good afternoon, Iron Will Collective. Thank you for joining us for another fantastic episode here today. I'm Elliot. I'm joined here with Jonathan Soto, the Jonathan Soto, and we're here to bring you some smooth jazz and some sleepy tunes.
Hello, and welcome back to the 15th installment of the Iron Will Collective podcast. We hope all is well out there in Radio Land.
Radio Disney. I will not ever say no to an opportunity to talk about Radio Disney.
Yeah, man, you're always plugging Radio Disney, and
Yep.
for good reason. For good reason.
I know they have an eclectic selection of songs for people young and old.
Yeah, you know that High School Musical? You ever heard of that?
Favorite movie?
Amazing story of inspiration, perseverance, and good old-fashioned balls.
Yep, exactly. I love when they sing on the basketball court. That's my
Yeah.
favorite part.
Dude, it's so badass.
Yeah, seriously. I always thought, like, dude, like, if you sing like that, then you get the Disney girls. So I tried and I tried. Appears I'm tone deaf, though, so
Dang, you know, there's got to be a place for you on the cast and crew.
I'm probably on the casting couch.
Been there, done that. You know, I don't know if I'd recommend.
Yeah, not especially now. You can't be too sure of how well they're sanitizing that furniture.
Take your own wipes, man. Come on.
I wonder what the coronavirus is doing to the porn industry. I wonder if, like, porn shoots are having to shut down because of virus complications.
I mean, what could you do 6 feet away? There's a lot. I'm guessing there's a lot. Like, I'm imagining some distance type stuff.
Like a long distance relationship, like sexting.
Yeah, but they film it all.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the world we live in.
Yeah, the porn's got to be relatable. So it's got to be on par with what we're dealing with.
That's right. It's supposed to simulate real life. That's why, you know, like we have donkey suits and all that crazy stuff. That's
Yeah.
what really happens out in the streets, man.
Anything with bodily fluids, I like.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
not the normal ones too.
I used to just sit and watch like Gatorade commercials on repeat because like it's pretty much a bodily fluid.
Well, yeah, those guys are sweating the colors.
Exactly. See, like, dude, that's freaking cool.
I agree. And gotta shout out our sponsor, Gatorade. Thank you for all the fantastic drinks.
And not to forget the other one, Flavor Aid.
Oh, and Kirkland brand sports drink.
Yeah, it's what plants crave.
When was the last time you had a Gatorade or like Powerade or any of those like equivalents?
It's been a really long time, but you know, I think the last one I had was I had a Propel for nostalgic reasons.
Propel fitness water, huh?
Yeah. The lemon lime flavor, it's pretty good. It looks exactly like water, but it's not.
All right, what the fuck is that? Fitness water? Like you gotta, isn't all water fitness water?
It's not good enough.
Well, Propel just takes water and adds some sort of sweetener, and I don't know if they like put any vitamins or anything in it or what. Like what could make Propel more fitness than just regular water?
I'll tell you what, the ergonomically designed bottle.
True, man. You're not dropping that bottle. Plus, they got the awesome pop top little spray nozzle there,
Yeah,
so you
man.
can shoot it in your mouth, shoot it in your friend's mouth.
Feel like a baby again. Well, so that's how we've been managing our time.
Yep, been just thinking about electrolytes.
Watching all these awesome commercials on repeat. It's really easy to get lost nowadays in these dark times, the end of days, just through all these rabbit holes, and then next thing you know, it's like 4 hours later, and what have you done with your day?
You mentioned commercials too, and you're on the way to a great segue. I'm just gonna mess that right up. But you mentioned commercials, and I just wanted to say that I have seen some commercials like on YouTube. Like I don't watch very much like cable television, so I'm not seeing like all the commercials, but I see what they throw on YouTube, and some of them are really weird. Some of them are like clearly ones that people have just scrounged up and thrown together. Like they're not scrounged up. It's not like they're low quality, but like brands throw these things together to target the stay-at-home person now, because that's so many people. And I just think like that's weird that these people are like really committing to this. Like
Oh, yeah.
Should that be foreshadowing of this issue lasting longer than all of us hope? Or is this just more money grubbing? Because as we know, many people who are able to still hold on to their business, we've seen quite a few questionable practices as far as the treatment of employees and whatnot that kind of goes against what you would maybe want to be working for, or maybe what's best for the pandemic. Bottom line is, I get both sides of it. If you've got a business, you want to hold on to it and you want to continue to make money because that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Well, they definitely responded quickly. Like, one of the first ones that I noticed in terms of commercials, restaurants, like fast food restaurants, advertising, even Chipotle advertising that you could do delivery or drive-through, pickup, any of that stuff, but never saying like dining rooms closed, but really emphasizing you can get delivery, you can drive through, you can do all this stuff. So I don't know. I think that's one industry that's definitely not going to see sales go down. If anything, they're probably going to go up.
I disagree, man. I've been out to eat a good few times here, and the amount of people, the amount of patrons at these eateries is significantly lower than what you would notice like on a typical Friday, Saturday night or whatever. Yeah. Weekdays are probably even worse, but they're definitely taking a hit.
Well, I wonder how many of those are delivery though, or like, I don't know. I don't really do fast food very often. Can't remember the last time, but I drive past, like, we have a Carl's Jr. pretty close by, and what was it? No, the Wendy's. Shoot, probably both of them. Really full drive-throughs pretty consistently. And I'm just guessing that with all this extra time that people have, they're getting the boredom hunger.
Well, that's probably true, and that's something I didn't really think about was the fast food restaurants who already make a killing off of drive-through sales. Yeah. They're probably not doing too bad, but you still got to imagine they're taking some sort of hit from not being able to have dine-in customers and stuff. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Always, yeah. It's that's a good mindset to have going forward with it. I mean, who the heck knows? We can speculate all day, but all I know is it's getting hotter outside, and that's keeping me inside, so I need to figure out what to do.
You and a lot of other people. So I think I saw this morning like a unemployment statistic that there's like 6 million registered unemployed in the country now.
Last week it was 3.
Yeah, like literally 3 people were unemployed. Now there's 6 million. But that's nuts. So a lot of people now are dealing with newfound free time, which in itself has kind of possibly thrown a wrench in their typical routine. Even though me, if I had a 9-to-5 job or something and this happened, other than losing out on the paycheck, I'd be so happy because I fucking hate working 9 to 5. Like that's the worst. Hate that. Hate going in and working for the man.
Can you imagine? Dude, like, okay, this is just me and my imagination kind of taking the reins, but I was driving down the street the other day and I saw so many people that look like they haven't seen the sun in like the last decade, and they're just out walking. They have this look on their face like, huh, so this is what it's like.
Were they on their phones?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, like they're just out for a legit walk, just a normal everyday walk. So something that like you and I, we do on a fairly regular basis. We're active. We're regularly active. But for a lot of these people with newfound free time, coming from the 9 to 5 who've just been laid off, like there's only so much you could do just sitting around at home. So I think they're starting to hit the streets, hit the sidewalks with their fists, and sometimes their legs too, and going for a little brisk walk.
Well, gotta enjoy that outdoor activity while you can, because they're just slowly but surely just shutting everything down. Who knows, a couple weeks from now, we could be on full-fledged lockdown. Dude. So get the sun while you can, people, because very much unpredictability in our future.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you never know. Right now, it's all sunshine and smiles, but next week or however many weeks, it could just be pepper spray and frowns.
Yeah, exactly. Tasers. I was just watching a taser documentary, and John had a really good idea that tasers should come with a governor so people don't get over-tased. So if taser, copyright, if you're listening, hire this man.
Get jobs right now.
Yep.
Dude, nah, tasers are crazy. But it could come down to that stuff. You really, like we said, you don't know.
And God, we really hope it doesn't, because that spells end of days for America pretty much if that crap starts happening. I fear, at least, because it's a known happening that when a people start to give up their liberties, they become harder to get back.
Yeah, history does repeat itself, but that's why I go out in my rubber suit. Yeah, I get funny looks because I look like a sex shop.
You look like that guy from Breaking Bad.
I haven't seen it. Does he wear a cool sex shop suit?
He does.
Look, rubber is impossible to electrocute. So
is it rubber or is it latex?
Well, I got the rubber one. It smells worse and it's really hard to get off. I think I'm gonna die of sweat, but you know, I'd rather
weight
die of
loss
sweat.
tip. Yeah. Rubber sex shop suit. I must speak slowly. For all of you listening that didn't know, English is my second language
Enunciate.
behind English. So sometimes if I mess up at talking, it's not my fault, okay? Nothing is ever my
The
fault.
Lord's English. Well, it took forever to reteach you how to speak American after you came back from Australia.
I know, and then even worse after I got back from Guam.
Dude, and then Zimbabwe, you remember that one?
Yep, well, we got a lot of fans in a lot of places, so we got to make the rounds.
Yeah, we gotta bump the elbows.
Yep.
Yeah, kiss the babies.
Kiss the homies. What?
Well, what do we do then? What's the solution? Because I don't know if you've run into this quite yet. I know that you and I have sort of a different situation in that we've, prior to all this stuff changing so rapidly, we're already spending a lot more time at home compared to the regular 9-to-5 person. But have you run into any issues of like time management and just non-effective use of your time throughout a day? Like next thing you know, there goes the whole day. What did you really do? And every day you're getting a little bit more bored. I mean, has that been a thing for you?
All right, well, I'll turn the clock back to the end of December when I quit my full-time job, and how I tried to ensure productivity throughout the week. Mm-hmm. Because I, of course, did have a plan. That's the first thing, I guess, is have a plan, and that will greatly influence what you do throughout the day. So my plan was to start a business that spreads fitness information to anybody and everybody, those who need it especially, and just generally wanting to help people. So I knew what I wanted to do, and though this is my first time embarking on a self-employment venture, I just knew that if I kept busy, then the goal would be attained. As long as the things that I was doing between like 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., mm-hmm. which is a pretty long day. I mean, you think of going for 8-hour day, changing it up to a 12-hour day. Trust me, it sucks a lot less when you're doing something you actually want to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started by making checklists every day. And the night before, I would write down what I wanted to accomplish the next day. So a New Year's resolution of mine was to read at least one book per month. Mm-hmm. So that was something that daily made it on, like read an hour, read as much as you can. Like if it's not an hour, read half an hour.
Yeah. Set
aside time for that, for education. I was also training clients at the time. So I, of course, that was on the list, is train clients. So that was a big one. And then depending on whatever else was needed at the time, just plan for it ahead of time. So say you needed to pick up dog shit, throw it on the list, and then that will help with your accountability to make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's how I started with it, and I have since stopped making lists because I've really gotten into the habit and been disciplined about not wasting my time during the day. So even to this day, even with all the corona craziness, I don't watch any Netflix until the end of the day. Like when my girlfriend gets home, then that's when we throw it on, when we relax and wind down for like maybe an hour or two at night.
Yeah.
I don't do anything that's like not productive. Like I try super hard not to take naps or anything like that. Unless I really, really need it, then I'll take one.
Could be productive if you need it.
Exactly. But I'm the kind of person who could sleep all day, every day if like that was acceptable. But yeah, so schedule the necessities. Of course, exercise was something that was always in there at some point in the day. And then, working on the business. So whether it be making content, researching for future pieces to share, the sky is really the limit. So I think for anybody out there listening who's dealing with boredom or a lack of productivity and they want to be more productive, start by exploring your interests. Find out what it is that you exactly would like to be doing. So
Something that's meaningful.
Exactly. That's the first step.
Yeah. So when we're planning for workouts, we typically save the movements that are going to require the most energy for the first or, earlier in the workout. When you're making a checklist for your day, do you organize it at all in such a fashion? Do you organize it based off of what's going to be most difficult or most time consuming? Or do you kind of just throw it down and then go about your day and see which boxes are going to be checked off?
I didn't really have a system like that, but the most important things would always make the list. So things like training clients, like there's no getting around that. Like these people are coming over, I need to be ready. It's not like I could just hide in here and not do it when they come. Like that's getting checked off the list. Things like that are, in my opinion, the hardest things were the most time consuming, the most attention requiring things were the things that came easiest. Cause it's like, okay, you got to do this. Like that's a drilled in responsibility, but simpler things and debatably even fun things such as reading for your hour a day. Those would be things that would be more likely to fall by the wayside as my experience had it. So
easier to justify skipping it or just not paying as much attention on it. But I like that rule that you mentioned. I don't know if it's like a hard and fast rule in your head, but it would absolutely benefit me if I had a rule similar to this, which is no Netflix until the end of the day. Or
that's hard and fast because you know how easy it is to get sucked in and start binge watching something.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna watch any sort of television type thing, it's going to be something that pertains to fitness, business, something that's going to help me education wise on YouTube more often than anything else is watching YouTube videos about how to get better at things that you want to get better at.
Yeah.
YouTube is a phenomenal source of information. So much on there. Whatever it is that you want to learn or you want to get good at, I guarantee you that there's help for you on YouTube.
It can also be a distraction though. So I think it does take a certain degree of discipline and also kind of knowing how to locate sources that are going to benefit your interests or benefit your personal growth. Because if you just, type youtube.com into your search engine bar and talking like an oldie here, and you end up on YouTube's front page, you've got all these recommended videos.
Especially if you are signed into your account, then they're going to be target recommended for you.
So even better, because now they've got you on the hook. And all they have to do is reel it in, which is really you just, scrolling and then deciding, oh, that sounds interesting. That can be cool at the appropriate time. But knowing what your task is and then sticking to that, I think is really important. Because otherwise, the risk of distraction, like it's some disease that comes across or that comes upon you, distraction can pull you away from things that matter. And while it might feel rewarding in the moment, you've got a little more instant gratification. When you turn around and look back at what you've accomplished or what you haven't accomplished, you can typically see in hindsight that it was distraction that really got in the way of being productive.
Well, I completely agree with what you're saying here is because of what I was saying before, there being so much information on YouTube, it can be easy to get distracted. But as long as you have your mission in mind, like, hey, I'm here to learn about back training today or something like that, or I'm here to learn about sciatica, whatever it is, like for me, at least that's for me, like as long as it pertains to fitness, nutrition, even like motivation stuff I consider to be in there. Like it's a wide range of topics that can help me in the future, and wide enough range to where it's like it's hard to get bored with them, because you can switch. Like if you have like a dedicated like hour or whatever that you want to be learning on YouTube, then you can watch, you know, depending on what you're interested in, depending on what you're trying to learn, you can probably watch a variety of things, because usually you're not limited to just one. So say you want to play guitar, you could watch piano videos and still learn music theory. So you got some play, but
Right.
you know, I have other interests as well, and things that will come up on my YouTube will be things like I like a lot of history things, like a lot of astronomy things.
Oh,
so that stuff will pop up on my YouTube, and that's the stuff that I'm going to save for later, because that's not helping me toward this goal here. Like that stuff is more entertainment for me.
That's a cool feature on YouTube as well. One that I've used really, really often is the watch later. So let's say you're scrolling and you have your task in mind, personal development or professional development. Sometimes those two can go hand in hand, and you come across a video that doesn't fit either of those categories, but is still badass, and you want to save it. Just hit that watch later button. It's a playlist. Everybody has it as long as you're logged into an account, and it can be really good for treating yourself afterwards. So, you know, there's a saying that and this is like speaking about the individual. You're a bad boss and you're a bad employee and an even worse boss. So when it comes to giving yourself direction, you are probably not going to follow that direction immediately. It's going to take a certain degree of discipline. And the boss part, so that's the employee part, directly disobeying the order that you've just given yourself. The boss part is that it can be hard to enforce these things on yourself too. So being cognizant of that and aware that that's a thing, that you can know your task and still justify distractions, should kind of push you to give yourself how do I want to put it, like an ultimatum, like you have to do this and then you can enjoy your reward.
Yeah, give yourself some sort of consequence, I guess.
Yeah.
Even. Like I'm a firm proponent of self-flagellation. So in whatever manner that may came, it doesn't have to happen with a whip or anything like that. Just punish yourself if you mess up. Yeah, right. Like you're a piece of shit, and you need to tell yourself that every second until you get on track.
Alina, when I'm not on track, if I ever like derail too hard, I'm like, all right, Alina, you know those nudes? You gotta send them out to my mom. Look, it keeps me up at night. That's why I don't sleep. I'm like, ooh, did I do good today?
Yeah, you need. Okay, so pro tip: have a trusted person blackmail you.
Yeah.
That way it'll keep you on track to your goals.
Even better if they're untrusted. I mean,
yeah,
really
even better. Yeah, they might just throw them out. But in all reality, you can't rely on anybody else to help you with this stuff. You can get help where it may come from someone else living in your house or someone close to you, but at the end of the day, they can't twist your arm and make you do this stuff.
It's not their responsibility.
No,
either.
definitely
not. It really
not.
comes down to the individual. So, I mean, we talk a lot about discipline and how motivation is fleeting. It's discipline that gets things done. But how do you cultivate it? How do you build it? It really comes from setting those consequences. And sometimes, at least for me, what I do is I try to think of where I'll be in a few years if I continue with the distraction. And it's usually not pretty. But if, on the other hand, if I were to continue being productive in a few years, theoretically, I'm going to be in a much better place.
Oh yeah, it's going to be better than the latter for always. But you can draw a parallel between this and exercising in general. Is that it's the same quality required. Yeah. Discipline. And discipline doesn't just come out of thin air. You've got to cultivate it, like you were saying. You've got to foster that habit in yourself.
It's not easy. Like, don't let anybody tell you it's easy. It's a grind for sure, but it's also not the hardest thing in the world. Like, you know how hard it is? Well, you know how easy it is?
It's way easier than getting your ass beat.
Yeah, exactly. And all you have to do is try. That's the thing. So we have all this time now. The worst thing that could happen from trying is you fail. And the worst thing that could come from a failure, like let's say you try to read a book for an hour and you fail. Well, the worst thing that could happen from that is you tried and you read more than you would have if you thought it wasn't worth the shot.
But with reading, if you want to read for an hour and you couldn't do it, then maybe you need to reassess the content. Because that reading is... Nobody wants to read a bad book. What did you say before? No one's got time for bad books or something.
Yeah, that. Life's too short to finish bad books.
Yeah. So you need to find something that actually piques your interest, and you'll know it. Like if you're anything like me, you can read the first chapter or two and be like, all right, I like this. Like I can keep going. Like it's got me. But other times, which I'm sure everybody has experienced because we've all here had to read books against our own will in school and stuff like that. They just tell us to read these books. Oh, it freaking sucks. Yeah. It's so monotonous and hard to even pay attention to the book.
You have to be able to click with the content. Yep. What I've been doing recently is, I tried reading a book once.
The Bible.
I tried reading this specific book, and it was going all right. I made it to about chapter 4 out of 12 or 13, something like that. So about a quarter of the way through, but I really had to white knuckle it for a few of those chapters, and it was tough. I really liked the content. It was just the way it was worded, or my attention span wasn't there because I don't know. I didn't set aside time to read. I was just reading, every time I'd sit on the toilet or something, or when I had a couple seconds. But because that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, I thought, instead of trying to white knuckle the whole book and potentially absorb next to nothing from it, I'm going to change my tactic here. And so I downloaded the audiobook of it, and I've been listening to it. So already I'm further than when I was reading it, and I just barely started this earlier in the week. So it's been a lot faster. I feel like I'm absorbing the content because, like I said, it does interest me, but sometimes just the act of reading alone is difficult to do. And I'll admit it, like sometimes reading isn't exactly what I want to be doing, but you do need to be able to set that time aside and then at least try, because I didn't download the audiobook without trying. Not to say audiobooks are bad, but don't give up on reading just because it's hard,
Yeah, just like any other skill, it takes practice, and I'm sure most of the people listening to this can read to some level, but you can always get better. And as you read more, your comprehension abilities also increase, so you start to remember what you're reading better.
Yeah.
And also, another added benefit of reading, in my opinion, is the vocabulary that you can pick up. Right. That's super, super useful. So a lot of good can come out of it, but like Jon was saying, audiobooks are fantastic options as well, because for most books there is an audio version of it.
Yeah.
So you can even read along with the audio version and get the best of both worlds if you'd like.
Done that too.
But the main key here is when choosing books, whether it be for entertainment or for personal growth, is that, again, this is completely my opinion, but I think reading is a valuable use of time, far above watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Or let's see here, what else would I playing video games, anything like that. Like it's gonna be, in the long run, better off for your brain.
Yeah, and a good book is oftentimes, most times, way better than any movie or show. I mean, it really grips you, and that's what you should look for. Like, just know that that's out there.
Yeah,
maybe you haven't found that book, but you need to find that book.
Yep.
And that's one thing that you could do with your time. That's one of many things that you could do with your time. So you've got this whole day now.
All right, another staple in the day is definitely exercise. You can't come to the Iron Will Collective podcast and not get preached at, because you need to be fit. You need to get active. Yeah. You need to take care of your body. You only get one. Not 2, not 7. You get 1.
Uno.
So you got now, especially that you have the time, no excuses why you can't put forth some energy toward maintaining your body.
Yeah.
And or striving for your goals. If maintenance is not something that you're comfortable with right now, say you're a little overweight, you want to shed some fat, now's the time to start. Like, you don't need a gym to do it. All you need is will.
Yeah, and it's a huge opportunity. I mean, there's a lot going on right now, but I think we could all use the mental vacation. It's like we were saying earlier, to get away from the fear porn, all the news and the stuff that's going to be detrimental to your mental health overall, and do something for yourself. I mean, you don't even need to have the intention of like changing your body or anything, but just doing it because right now you have the opportunity to do so, and whether you like it or not, it's something that is beneficial for you.
Your body needs it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no question about it. That's like fact that your body needs to move.
Yeah. Oh man.
If you want it to work properly, that is. Unless you want to be a lump of fucking piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to be in pain and you want to have a decreased quality of life, then go ahead and don't exercise.
Yeah, exactly. And be our guest. No, what were you saying yesterday during the workout? Oh, how good it feels afterward.
Yep.
The hardest part is starting. And, well, I mean, honestly, sometimes the hardest part is doing it.
Well, I think it was during the squats. Like, we were doing some heavy box squats yesterday. And, oh my God, it's so not fun. It's so hard and it's taxing and it's brutal. Like, it makes me question every time, like, why am I doing this? But then you finish with your final set and
that's it.
let that weight off of your shoulders. And then what I was telling John yesterday is that is the closest you're going to get to instant gratification in the gym, is that feeling of relief you get when you've done your work and now you don't have to do any more squats for the rest of the day.
So worth it.
Yeah, it's like, it's euphoria.
Yeah. It's a similar feeling to, like, I don't know, doing your homework or something.
Or nutting.
Yeah. Nut buttering. I don't know. It's very much worth the time. And I mean, think about it. 30 minutes to an hour. That's it.
Yeah.
30 minutes to an hour.
It's 1/24 of your day. You want to look at it that way. Yeah. Slightly larger percentage of your waking day. But ask anybody who anybody who works out regularly has had that feeling of dread of going into the gym.
Yeah.
Not wanting to do it in the first place, but 9 out of 10 times you're going to feel better after and you're going to be happy you did it.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that one day, but even then that's not a loss. Like
that one day when you went with me to the gym a long time ago and you had me do a workout and it was like like drop set on the leg press and then a drop set, or it was a pyramid on the squats.
Yeah.
I got a headache that lasted for a week after that is one of the few occasions when you don't leave the gym feeling better. Like, my legs were shaky. I had a headache that did not go away. Like, I thought I was just straight up broken. But really cool.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that can happen. It can. But still, do it. Because then you can say you did.
Yeah, and you laugh about it later. That's the best thing about it. Bad things that happen. Generally, given time, you can look back at them and you can chuckle. And it's always fun to be able to look back at something hard like that. Like yesterday, for instance, I played a April Fool's prank on my girlfriend, and I called her and I was like, "Where's the rent checks? Like, you lost the rent checks." And I like really sold it well. Turns out she was at work, stressed out. She had a really bad time, very, very upset with me. No. Very, very upset. Like, I was in big time trouble. Dang. But time heals all wounds. Yeah. So I told her, like, she might not be laughing about it today still, but 6 months from now, I guarantee you she's going to look back at it and laugh.
Yeah. So that's at least by next year.
Yeah, at least by next year. Well, I mean, I don't know if we'll still be around by next year.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. But think of a embarrassing time that you've had, or think of a struggle that you've been through, and think about it now, like something that, especially embarrassing things tend to be more funny, or pranks. But think back to it now and try to see the silver lining in it.
Yeah, see it in a different light. That's a cool way of trying to change your perspective too, because oftentimes when we're looking ahead or when we're in the thick of it, it can be pretty tough to spin it so that you can see it in a positive light, whatever you're doing.
Anxiety only lives in the future.
Yeah. I mean, you're anxious about things to come.
If you are present, or even, reminiscing on that funny prank of yesteryear, anxiety is not going to play a role. So fear and anxiety and all these bad emotions, you can combat them by practicing presence.
And, it's really hard not to be present when you're working out. Really hard. I mean, okay, I challenge you right now, unless you're driving, drop down elbow plank. Try not to be present after, 30, 40 seconds.
I don't know. With planks, I personally try to dissociate with my life, like just try to go somewhere else. Like
out of
mind
body
over
experience.
pain. Exactly, because that's like different. But that still requires a lot of focus.
Yeah.
But something like, something for me at least, was like exercises that require balance. Like you're lifting and you're balancing. Oh my God, I don't got time to think about, I don't know my name. Like when I'm doing that, like ask me something, like I'm not going to answer. Like I can't even talk right now.
No, and that just proves how you can't multitask. You either do two things crappy or you do one thing well. So you have to be in the moment and eliminate that fear and anxiety of things that are maybe going to happen. That's really true, man. A lot of times we're thinking about how things might go, or how things went. So it's either in front of you or behind you. It's never right where you are in the moment.
Exactly. When I think about the past and things that I've done that are I'm like questioning after the fact or something like that, I like to just say to myself, life's just a game. I'm just playing the game. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, well, it's like a dance.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm just like literally like just doing stuff. Like I like I'm all right. Don't be a dick. Don't go and kill people or beat people up for no reason or anything like that.
Yeah.
Don't be a psycho. But don't try not to be too married to the actions that you've done in the past, or your beliefs about the future, or beliefs about anything in general. Yeah. Try to be very flexible in your life. Don't be the person who's like, I know everything, you can't teach me anything. Be the opposite of that. Be a sponge. Be always ready to learn, and be always ready to just be here in the now.
Yeah, and so that's a really good point. And also it goes to say that, let's say you've wasted a good amount of time up until this point. Well, hey, all you can do is something different.
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. So it's happened. Whatever's happened, it's done. It's in the past. And so now is your opportunity to make a better decision and try to kind of stack the pieces up in a way that's going to benefit you in the future. I used to do this thing where the day before or the night before my next day of work, I'd go get like my outfit ready for the next day. I'd set the coffee maker, so then all I had to do is hit start. I'd like put my breakfast in the refrigerator. All I'd have to do is microwave it. Like I'd pre-cook scrambled eggs and all that, just so the next day all I had to do is like run on autopilot and make it happen, like hit go. So I called that basically doing a favor for your past self. Say future self will thank you. And dude, it's helped so much. Like it's easier to do it sometimes ahead of time. And so what I'm trying to say is just start, and then future self will thank you looking back.
Just like when you get plastered off the Rasputins, but you leave yourself a glass of water for the middle of the night, you'd be so thankful.
Super smart.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, and that it can be very beneficial too, is to have, that is some time when thinking ahead would be beneficial, is when you're preparing.
Yeah.
And that can potentially, save you the time the next day. but it's all time spent somewhere. You're not, unless you got a chef or something like that who's going to do that for you, you're still spending the time. So you just got to choose when you want to spend it.
Organize your time, man.
Yeah, exactly. Something I wanted to say though, that I was just thinking about is that with the amount of information out there and with the amount of potential activities for everybody and interests that exist within people, there's absolutely no reason why any people listening to this right now should ever be bored. If you start to experience boredom, you need to do some reflection, and because that's just not right. You have so much that you can do. You're putting up mental barriers that just don't even exist. Like,
it's unacceptable.
Yeah, like John showed me a picture yesterday with this dog who was like leashed to a water bottle, and it said a caption. It was like, sometimes the things that hold us back don't even exist, or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
That's pretty much it.
But that's so true. So, and I can speak from experience because I've been bored many times in my life, and I know I'm not saying that you, like, if you get bored, like you're a fucking piece of shit, you're a lump of fucking shit. No, it happens. But if you do start to experience boredom, now is the time to pursue your interests. Don't, just because you're bored with Netflix and you can't find anything to watch, that doesn't mean that there's nothing left to do in a day.
There's so much more you can do. That was something that I learned shortly after like moving out and kind of just starting my life as an adult, because I would sit around and I would have these little bouts of boredom, and I don't know where I heard it or if I read it or somebody told me or what, but it came into my mind, and it was, there's no excuse to be bored, because being bored just means you're not doing something you're supposed to be doing. You're avoiding something. And whether that's intentional or not, there's always something that you can be doing that will stimulate you in a positive way. It's just about exploring what those things are. So for a lot of people, I mean, maybe you've been addicted to social media or things that haven't been necessarily meaningful or rewarding and definitely not productive. Then it can be a little hard to figure out what does bring meaning to your life or what is worth spending your time on. But really, it's as easy as just trying things out. I mean, you'll know soon enough. You just have to give it a shot, and then shortly after doing that, you'll know whether it's something that you want to stick with or not.
Yep, but there's the key is you must remove the digital veil from your face. You can't be consuming information on your phone or on TV or on the computer all day long. It's time to actually experience some things for yourself. So it can be on the smallest scale of things. So say you've been on Facebook all day watching Netflix in the background and you're bored as shit now. Hey, how's your kitchen look? Is it clean? How's your refrigerator look? You got any old food in there rotting? Like, there is so much that you could be doing to simply maintain your living space, maintain your body, as in exercise, practicing hygiene. So, hey, take a shower, Facebook boy.
What?
But something that's
those are good points, man.
Something that you can do to help to foster this discipline and create good habits is practicing with really, really easy things that are still very beneficial to your life, such as one of my favorite ones. I didn't make this up. Brushing and flossing your teeth.
Oh, yeah.
People, please brush and floss your teeth. Brush them at least twice a day. Floss them, God, at least once. If you could do twice, you're a beast. Take care of your teeth. That is a tough habit for a lot of people. Ask any dentist. They're like, you haven't been flossing, have you? And I'm just like, I don't know. But get on that. Like, for me, even if I fall asleep before brushing and flossing, I will, like clockwork, wake up a couple hours later and then drag my groggy ass into the bathroom to do the entire routine.
That's always the worst, but you still get it done no matter what. Yeah,
you know what's worse than doing that is waking up the next morning, having not done it, having let your teeth stew in their filth all night. That's when the plaque builds up. That's when problems happen is when you leave that stuff for long periods of time. So brush your damn teeth twice a day, floss them at least once. Start with that. If you can't build that habit, that takes literally 5 minutes tops per day. How can you expect to master another habit of positive value for your life? I mean, you'll probably be all right if it comes to smoking cigarettes or something, or drinking liquor. Get yourself hooked on a chemical substance, maybe. But to do it naturally, yeah, exactly. To do it naturally, like this is kindergarten shit right here.
Yeah,
brush your teeth, floss your teeth every single day. There's a habit that, again, is not easy to do, but once you do it, will benefit from the lack of pain that you have in your future in dentist chairs.
Yeah. Oh.
And you're not gonna have stinky breath, and you're gonna have nice off-white teeth, because it's pretty hard to get white teeth.
Need that bleach.
You need those white strips pro.
Yeah.
But as long as they're clean, that's what I'm saying. And this is a great place to start for habit building.
I like how you mentioned cleaning your kitchen, because there's another saying that I like, and I repeat it pretty often in the house, and it's that your living space, your environment is a reflection of your consciousness. And so if you have a really dirty, cluttered, unorganized house or room, kitchen, I mean, any of it, backyard, garage, you can think of it all, then it's a reflection of what you've got going on inside your mind. It's most likely going to be disorganized, cluttered, just hard to focus. So by really just taking the time to go through everything that you've got, trying to eliminate some of the clutter, trying to put things where they should be, giving them some time and attention. Dude, honestly, sometimes that's like the best feeling for me, is just going through the house and cleaning. It sucks to get started.
Just like working out.
And I hate the fact that I have to do it. But once I do it, and especially after I've done it, dude, it feels so good. Again, it's like nut. And so taking that time, like, that's a great first step. First you brush your teeth, then you floss your teeth, then you clean your damn house.
Yep. I have heard multiple times as well that a cluttered work environment, so say if you are like working from home, or you have like a computer set up that you were planning to use for your personal interests endeavors.
Yeah.
Make sure that your workspace is nice and tidy too, because I have heard a lot, again, that a messy workspace plays a negative effect on your focus, which makes sense. So start with these little things. And again, these things are things that require daily maintenance. Of course, you're going to have to tidy up probably multiple times per week, of course, every day for your teeth, but
every damn day,
every gosh dang day. But these are things that you will thank yourself for doing. Just like when Jon made those eggs for himself the night before, you're going to thank yourself, because when you go in to make dinner tonight, you're going to be making dinner in a nice clean kitchen. There's not going to be a big ass stack of dishes in the sink. You're going to have, and then the mess from dinner tonight is going to be a lot smaller than it would have been if you had a stack of dishes in the sink. Less work to chew throughout the days, rather than having to chunk off massive cleaning projects.
Yeah.
Everything will get better, basically.
Yeah, it's only bad for the roaches that live in your house, okay?
Hey, roaches are actually one of the most successful species on Earth. They have been around for millions of years. I believe at least since the days of the dinosaur, probably before that.
Wow.
So don't knock the roaches. Don't put them out of house and home. If you have a roach problem, that's not a problem. They have claimed the property. If you want to kill them,
cohabitate with them.
Yeah, good luck paying for an exterminator with your ass out of work. Just live with the roaches.
Ooh, I saw these horrendous videos back when I was working in property management as well. Oh my God, they can get out of hand.
Yeah.
So your call, whether you want more or less roaches. You can either give them the space they want, that nice, dirty...
Breed them for your own food.
Yeah. Oh, hey, good idea. I'm sure that... Look, they should just do that in China. Like, they don't need to be eating these wild animals.
These bats.
Just breed roaches.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a special species.
Roach kebab.
They can, like, genetically modify them to be really big and juicy. Dude, we're onto something.
Yeah, you're literally taking trash and whatever else roaches eat, and you're making it into food. That's some Jesus level work right there.
So, okay, something that's really helped me out is organizing my day down to the hour. So I have a schedule, and I mean, it's not like every single hour meticulously planned out. I'm not Bill Gates over here. So it's a little bit more broad, but at least I know what I'm supposed to be doing at what time. And so these are the important things for me, because I've done checklists, and honestly, one of the best things, it increased my productivity so much. But I haven't done checklists recently. I might have to get back on that. Just, talking about it here with you, it sounds like something that everybody could benefit from, but it's just another level of organization to your day. And honestly, I like the accountability you get, because at the end of the day, if you see your checklist and it doesn't have a single damn check near any of the boxes, you did something wrong. And too many of those days back to back, and you're really, really going to have a lot of work to do. You're going to have to dig yourself out of a deep hole there. So that's why I like the checklist. But scheduling the bigger things in my day, like, okay, I'm still seeing clients right now. So first thing is see the client. After that, I've got my workout scheduled in, so I know what time that's starting. It's not going to be before, it's not going to be after, it's at that time, whether I feel like it or not. I know that as soon as I get through it, I'm going to feel really good. And then, you just move on to the next thing. But it eliminates any of that guesswork, because I've found that one of the worst things is to rely on how you feel. You might feel good today and you be confident about how beastly you're going to accomplish things tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and you don't feel that good. You just want to relax. The lure of the distraction is calling to you, and you don't flourish that way, man.
I have a great example that many people can relate to. It's Friday night, you're hanging out with your friends, you make plans to do something the next night or something like that. But then as the next day plays out, you're feeling lazy. You don't want to do nothing. Yeah. You're like, why did I make those plans?
It happens.
But guess what? Every time that I felt that way, which has been a lot, there's nothing I like more than to quarantine myself just in general.
Right.
Like, that's my favorite thing. But if you make plans with somebody and you don't want to go, and then you go because you're obliged to, you told them you would.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time I've done that, I've had fun. So it's like, I don't know. It just goes to show you that even if you're dreading doing something, it might not turn out to be nearly as bad as you think. Actually, quite the opposite. It might actually be beneficial for you.
Goes back to how you were saying anxiety lives in the future. And so, yeah, you could be dreading that, but you really never know. So having it down, having it written down, like anywhere, you can download Google Calendar or whatever. Use a calendar that your grandma gave you. Whatever it is, stick to it. Make that priority. The fact that it's written down means it has to get done. And that's also how you cultivate your discipline, because inevitably there's going to be the times where you get to that time and you're supposed to be doing something and you don't feel like doing it. But because you've told yourself, if it's written down, it has to get done, then it gets done. And you're all the better for it.
So guess what? If you are suddenly have found yourself out of work due to the current situations that we're dealing with, your life is now your job. Your life is now your full-time job. So you could either slack off, watch Netflix and nap all day, and then in 1 month's time, you will have experienced little to no growth as a person, little to no skill improvements at the things that you like to do. Or you can devote some time each day to doing this. Go ahead and still nap and watch Netflix, but do your business first, and then gradually improve upon that. So say week 1, you set yourself for an hour of reading, or say you like making birdhouses. Like, say I'm going to work on my birdhouse for an hour today, and then you have a good successful week working for an hour. How about you up that next week? Up that productivity, increase it, and then after a month, you will have so much more experience under your belt, so much more knowledge under your belt than had you just nap the whole time. Not saying naps are bad. Naps are awesome.
Yeah.
But not very productive when it comes to learning things learning things of this world. You can learn a lot about the dream world in dreams, but
yeah,
it's quite a bit different.
Definitely. It's I don't know, maybe not as applicable in the waking life here. Doesn't translate, doesn't cross over, but
unless you need to kill a bunch of bobcats, then I've got you.
Dude, that dream was crazy. I had a weird one last night. I can't really remember it though, but you gotta love how entertaining dreams can be.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're always crazy.
Yeah, I'm a fan. So yeah, sleeping's great, but setting up systems for yourself to where you have things that you have to do, not necessarily fun every time, maybe, but it should be meaningful. I mean, or at the very least, contribute towards something that is meaningful.
This is going to vary so much from person to person as well. So it's up to you to decide what that is.
Yeah. I mean, some people want to do their taxes. That's how we get CPAs, you know? Like,
I just let H&R Block do it for me.
Well, yeah, but somebody wanted to work there.
Oh no, on the internet one. I don't make enough money to need someone to do my taxes. Not yet.
Man, that's crazy. I wonder if those are even going to exist in like 10 years.
For 1 year, let's see. No one can even go see anybody. They're going to call off tax season again next year. They already postponed it many months this year. So
yeah, I heard until like June or something.
Something like that. But so we are. The time on our podcast today is waning. So I have one thing here to add that can help you to decide what it is that you should be spending your time on. If you're out of work or anything right now, or generally if you're still working, you just have less hours or whatever. If you got extra free time, first decide what you like to do. Mm-hmm. Then find what you're good at, and then find something that you can be paid to do, and then try to find something that you can say all three of those things about. If you can find that thing, then start working toward it, start pursuing it, because who knows? Maybe you are a laid off bartender right now or something like that, and you have always been interested in watercolor painting. Guess what? If you like it, fantastic. If you're good at it, even better. People will pay for paintings. Yeah. So that's just one example of many things that you could devote your time to, but you could potentially create a better life for yourself out of this. You know that saying, life hands you lemons, you make beef stew, Annie Milonakis? Just like that. You turn your lemons into beef stew. You take something that's sour and turn it into something savory and delicious.
Yeah. And you know, you're not limited by the constraints of job titles or anything like that. Like, now is the time more than ever. 2020, you can create your own job, create your own title. We have the availability of the internet. It's a fantastic tool. It's how you're listening to us right now, and it's really practically limitless. So don't be shy. Dig deep into those interests of yours, and then figure out what's going to resonate, and from there it will grow itself. Faith is believing before things have happened. So just have faith that it's going to pan out, that it'll work out, so long as you apply consistent effort and you can develop strategies and plans to keep moving yourself and progressing forward. Because if you're not growing, well, you're not living.
Yep. The rate of improvement is not as important as the fact that you are able to get better at each and every day. Like, it doesn't matter, like in weightlifting, for instance, say you achieved one more rep than you did the last week on, say you were benching 135 and you hit all 5 of your sets at 10 reps. I mean, last week your last 2 were at 9. So that's 2 extra reps. But look at those small things and appreciate them for what they are, and they are progress.
Yeah. And that's your gratification. That's why you work hard, just for those little things. So appreciate the little things and spend your time wisely. I have a saying, it's spend your time wisely working on things that matter, because you'll never get that time back.
It's a fantastic saying.
That's not how it goes word for word. Damn it. I should get it tattooed on my neck.
Yeah, then you still won't be able to see it.
Shoot.
But anyway, we wish the best for everybody right now, especially given these hard times. But life is what you make it. You need to shift your perspective. If you're in the dumps right now, that is something that everybody can do. And if you're having serious problems with that, find somebody to talk to. Find some help, because it's out there. If you got family, you got friends, reach out. They will want to help. If you need anything on the fitness, nutrition, recovery spectrum of things, we're here for you too. We are especially happy to help now. I mean, we always have been, but yeah, anything you guys want, any questions, comments, or concern, let us know, and we'll do our best to give you some feedback.
Yeah, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, you can always give us your best ideas too. Even the worst ones, we'll take them all.
Yeah, shout out to Alina for the idea for today's episode on time management. I hope, if she's listening,
I hope
this was somewhat helpful for you at least.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.